The news of this hour begins in West Africa, where embattled Nigeria's former central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, has been granted bail in the sum of 50 million naira after being charged with 26 counts bordering on alleged abuse of office and irregular allocation of $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira respectively. Emefiele was admitted to bail with two sureties and like sum by Justice Rahmon Oshodi on Friday. Rahmon Oshodi, the judge, in his ruling on the bail application on Friday, admitted Emefiele on bail with two sureties and like sum. On Monday, Emefiele was arraigned by the federal government alongside Henry Omole, his co-defendant. Highlighting the bail conditions, the judge said the two sureties must be gainfully employed and have 3 years tax payment with the Lagos state government. The judge ordered the addresses of the two sureties must be verified. And to help unpack this, I'm joined live on the news by a legal practitioner, Justice Ojienoh. Good afternoon. Glad to have you join me.
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to our listeners all across the world.
Okay.
Pleasure.
All right. Now, could you provide an overview of the proceedings so far in this case against Mr. Godwin Emefiele, particularly regarding the allegations of abuse of office and also irregular allocation of funds?
Okay, for me, I think that generally the government has done everything that it's fairly expected to do in this case. Of course, they arrested him, they brought charges against him, and the charges, he was made to plead guilty promptly. And of course, the bail hearings came up, and the judge too has done his bit by giving what I think is a very, very fair bail condition, especially against the backdrop of the amount or the allegations that are preferred against the former CBN governor. But if he feels that he can't meet the bail conditions, it now behoves on him and his lawyers to actually apply to the courts to vary the conditions. But generally, I don't think the terms of the bail conditions are onerous.
Let's talk about the factors considered, in arriving at this decision to grant Emefiele bail. What are the conditions of this bail we're looking at?
Okay, for me, I think that one major factor that's considered is the fact that he is also on numerous other bills, because now we even have a fatigue of following Emefiele's cases. I don't think, except it's a legal practitioner like me that is following all his cases, if we are to use check balance, bumper to bumper, they may not be able to say, okay, this is exactly the case against him, because they practically have lost count. So a number of cases have been against him. He must have dropped his passport at some point in the earlier cases. So that would be a major factor in the courts not saying he should drop his passport. So they feel that the courts might also have considered the fact that there have been other conditions levied against him in other courts. So, and also another major factor is he hasn't been problematic so far. He hasn't attempted to jump bail so far. So that would also have been a condition. Maybe the court also feels that he is not a witness, that he is not a defendant that may want to tamper with the case. Because ordinarily, these are the things that the courts, because they feel that a suspect will go and tamper with the witnesses, intimidate witnesses and all, the court will decline those. So I feel that the court must have done its own extremely due diligence with respect to the situation before giving him what I feel is a very, very fair bail condition.
Well, if you recall, December 2023, Emefiele was first granted bail of 300 million naira. And then afterwards, what we heard was he was unable to meet up with the bail condition. Now, going by these antecedents, do you see the EFCC, honoring this bail if Emefiele fulfills the conditions?
I feel so. I feel so, and I honorably expect so in the interest of rule of law, because they also are an organization that are created by law. It will be illegal and unlawful for them to attempt to not fulfill it, for them to attempt to not have him released if it fulfills all the bail conditions. And of course, I expect that Emefiele's lawyers too will have to maybe rely on the what we call Forms 48 and 49 of the Sheriffs and Civil Procedures Act to bring contempt charges against the leaders of the EFCC if they do not honor the terms. But generally, I feel that they will honor the terms because they actually eventually honor the term by releasing Emefiele last year on the 22nd to go and enjoy Christmas when he successfully perfected his bill. So I expect too that even though law enforcement agencies can be very, very funny at times, I expect that this will not be an outlier.
But what other dynamics are we looking at here? What steps are anticipated to take place, probably in the legal proceedings against Mr. Godwin Emefiele and his co-defendant, Mr. Henry Omole?
I think it will be as plain as milk, actually. It will be straightforward because I don't foresee any legal gymnastics because they've been at it, they've done it repeatedly with respect to his other cases. So I just feel that there won't be any surprise. It's just going to be straightforward.
How would you assess the strength of the prosecution's case against Mr. Godwin Emefiele? And then what potential legal strategies do you anticipate the defense may employ moving forward?
Okay, for me, that may be a very, very direct question that may be hard for me to answer, especially because of the ethics of our profession. But I will say this: the standard that is expected in all criminal trials is proof beyond reasonable doubt, and the major job is on the side of the prosecution. They must ensure that they do a yeoman's job, because if they don't do a yeoman's job, if there is any doubt or any significant doubt, it's the court's duty, pursuant to the laws on our books, especially the Evidence Act, to let Mr. Emefiele go home free and dry. Because as we say in criminal prosecution, we usually say that it's better to let 99 guilty persons go home scot-free than to punish an innocent person. So that is why the standard is so high. So the work of the prosecution is really, really cut out for them. And I expect that this is a fair jury. And or at the end of the day, the judges will land on the side of the justice of the case. So the defendants, yes, they have the defendants' lawyers, they have much to do too, but not as surmounting as that of the prosecution.
Well, time, like they say, will tell. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. Well, thank you so much for your insight on the news. Justice Ojienoh, legal practitioner. Thank you once again.
It's my pleasure.